Hi, okay, welcome to session 3. We're going to start this session just recapping some of the work that we've already done. What I'd like you to do is, obviously, I want you to have a go at these. And if you get stuck, I want you to look back through your notes. The very act of looking it up for yourself will make it easier the next time you do it. So please don't rely on just listening to the answers at the end. Please go for it. And remember, even if you're stuck, do your best guess. It doesn't matter if it's gone wrong. You know, you're going to think, if you think of something, but you're not sure about it, just try it anyway. Okay. So press pause. And then when you're ready, press play and we'll look at the answers together. Okay. So here are the answers. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave them. Oops, don't go too far. There we go. I think we've got it in the right place. I'm going to leave it like that so you can pause and just mark. Okay. So if you pause now and do your marking. Okay, so what I am going to talk through these, all right? I want to make sure that if it's gone wrong for you, you have some information about why the answer is what it is. If you literally got everything right, you don't want to listen to that. You don't need to. So obviously just forward the video on to the point where you need to, start listening again. If it's just one particular question, again, you could do a similar thing, just forward to that explanation. So you don't have to literally sit through and listen to everything if you've got things right. Okay, so what I'm going to do then is let's just zoom in a little bit and talk about why I've done what I've done. So in this question here, I've used the number 180. I've used the number 180 because I have the straight line and I use that half moon. Oops, dropped my pencil. And I've got that half moon shape. So when I see that, that needs to trigger 180. I then just take away what I've been given, what I know. I know that angle is 67, which leaves me the X. So this angle that's been labeled X, X is a number I don't know yet. I've now worked it out to be 113. Okay, let's do the one underneath. So this is our multiples of 10. So literally just 3 times 7 is 21. There's 2 zeros, so they've been put on the end. This is a divide. I'm dividing by 100, okay, which means I've got 2 zeros, cross those off, and that's where you get that 60 from. This is one that we did last time. I thought I'd put another one like this in. So we've got this bit to do first. So 5 times 4 is 20, and then the 2 zeros. And then obviously when I'm dividing through, I got 3 zeros that all get crossed off. So the final answer does come out at 2. Okay, let's go back up to this one. So you'll notice that the median wasn't asked for in this question. And this is really important. What happens is if we just always do mode, median, range, we actually stop thinking about the language and we just go through the motions. But that's not going to happen in your exam. They're just going to choose a random one and ask you if you can answer it. So it's really important that I do the same so that you get used to that and you are really thinking about what each word means. So mode means most. I've put them in order. I can see really clearly that 8 is coming up the most, so that's my mode. Range is the difference between the biggest and smallest. And remember, we must show this. If you didn't, you lost a mark. If you literally just wrote down 12, you have lost 50% of the marks for that question. That adds up over time. So even though this is just practice sessions, what you're actually doing is you're getting yourself ready to maximize your grade at GCSE. So no shortcuts. 15 take 3, got to write it down. And then 12 is your answer. All right, so next one here, we've got 180 just suddenly appearing. Okay, that's coming from the fact that a triangle adds up to 180. If you remember, I split that triangle up and popped it on a line to show that both the straight line and the triangle have that same 180-degree addition. So I've added up the two pieces, well, the two angles that I know. So I've added those up to get a total. And then I took that total away from the 180. When we were doing the lesson on this, I did 180, take 80, take 60, and I would have written it like that. I'm just trying to show you that it doesn't matter, and you need to do it in the way that's comfortable to you. If you want to do it like that, you will. If you want to add first and then take the total off, you will. At the moment, if you are just working on the language, working on the facts, trying to remember that it's 180 for a triangle, then just use a calculator for the maths. Write down what you're doing, but use a calculator. Just take a layer off of yourself for a little bit. And then when you get to that point, we go, oh yeah, triangle's 180, easy, straight line 180, easy. Then you can bring the challenge back and say, right, I'm going to do this without a calculator. Okay. Right, let's look at this one. We don't want to get it so you can see it. There we go. Now, different numbers being used this time. I've been using 180 in the other shape questions, but now suddenly 360 has appeared. That's because we're now looking at angles around a point. So angles around a point, there they all are, make a circle, and circles add up to 360 degrees. So they gave me a right angle here. So I knew that there was 90. They won't put the 90 in for me. I've got to know to do that. Then I've added up the bits I know. I've taken that away from 360, and it's left me that missing value, which is 120. And last but not least, we've got our vertically opposite rule. If that's 41, that's 41. So X is 41. That's nice and simple. But the Y can be confusing. So the Y is literally sat on that straight line, okay, with that 41 and that Y. It makes half a moon. So it's 180. And that's why the 180 got used here. Okay, 180, take away the 41, gave me 139, gave me the answer to Y. All right, so hopefully that went well, and we can now start on our next session. Let's get the page full. That's pretty good. Okay, so we're going to look at directed numbers and collecting like terms in today's new learning. All right, I put a number line up to help us. And I want us to be thinking about our sums in a slightly different way. Okay, directed numbers are sums that you are used to seeing, but we're going to think about them slightly differently. So this is what I mean by that. If I gave you 2 plus 3, you know the answer to that. You don't need a number line. You know the answer is 5. But what I want to show you, and this is what's going on in the background, this number is your starting point on the number line. I'm at 2. This sign directs me. So the 3 is being directed by the sign, okay? So if I've got a plus sign, it's directing me to go up the number line. If I've got a minus sign, it's directing me to go down. So that's directing me up 1, 2, 3 places, and that's why my answer is 5. Okay, now we don't need to do any of that for a sum like 2 plus 3. But when we start getting into our negatives, if we're not as confident, then it's really, really good to just build yourself a quick number line and do your hops. It just makes it so much easier. So let's do another one. We'll just get another number line here. So this time we're going to do 5 minus 7. Okay, So the first number is where I am on the number line. And then this is my directed number. 7 is being directed as a movement down the number line. So it's a minus, so it's going this way. And it's going 7 places. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 equals minus 2. Okay. Let's do another one. Put the number line in. There we go. Okay. Minus, whoops, lost my pen. Minus 5 plus 2. Minus 5 plus 2. Well, minus 5 is where I am sitting on the number line. Plus tells me up. So I'm going to go up 2 places to minus 3. So think about that plus and that minus is directing you along the number line. It's directing you up or it's directing you down. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're just going to do, we'll do a have a go question just so you can check in with your understanding. And then I'll write a few for you to practice. So have a go at 3 minus 6 for me. Pause and press play when you're ready. Okay, so I'm here at 3. I've got to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The answer is minus 3. Okay, if you got that right, really, really well done. Take the time to draw a number line out if you think that's going to help you. So here are some questions for you. I'm just going to put my number line back in. Right, so here are some questions for you to try. You can do minus 7 plus 2, minus 1 plus 9, minus 1 minus 4, and then we're going to do minus 4 plus 8. There we go. So press pause, have a go at those questions and press play when you're ready. Okay, so the first one says I'm at minus 7, so I'm here, I add 2, 1, 2, I end up at minus 5. Next question says start at minus 1, so I'm here. It says add 9, so here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That takes me to 8. Next question is minus 1. That's my starting point. Minus 4 means it's directing me down. So 1, 2, 3, 4 places. I end up at minus 5. And then the last one says start at 4. It's directing me up 8 places. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I end up at 4. Okay. Now, one of the things that I really want to point out at this stage is we didn't do any rules, did we? So a common thing that I see is people will look at that question and they'll go, oh, 2 negatives make a positive. We didn't use that rule. We just moved up or we moved down. And that's why negative numbers can be really confusing, because one minute you use the rules and the next minute you don't, and it's hard knowing what you're supposed to be doing. So we will be looking at negative numbers in detail as the course goes on. I'm going to mention just quickly when you use the rule in this situation, but we're not carrying on with it. I just, in case it was a question that you had in your head, I wanted to make sure that that was answered. So the time that we would use the rule for adding and subtracting, because all these questions are add and subtract questions with negative numbers involved. And the only time the rule comes in is when I've got something like this happening, 5 plus minus 4. Because technically the minus is -4. It is. And what happens is you end up then with 2 signs. I always say I'm at 5 and then it says add, but no, it then says take. And then it's like, well, where do I want to go? Do you want me to go up? Do you want me to go down? My direction is no longer clear. So I need to sort it out. And that's when I would start using the rules. But as I say, we will be seeing some of this as the course goes on. So don't worry if you're thinking, oh, I'm not very good at that, because we will be covering it. So for us today, we have just looked at the style of adding and taking away that requires no rules. And they require no rules because there's no double signage literally next to each other, yeah? We don't have that happening anywhere. Everything's separated out by numbers. Okay, good. Now, the reason that we've done this skill, and as I say, we will build on our negatives. We'll also build in some questions a little bit later again when we're feeling more confident. Things like, what if you had to, I don't know, what if you had 12 and you had to take away 28? How do we make that work when the numbers are bigger and our number line, we can't draw a massive, huge number line. So we will look at that. But like I say, to start off with, we always start, get confident, and then we build. All right. So we've got enough to get us moving into the next topic, which is collecting like terms. Now, for this, I want to give a little bit of understanding behind the algebra that you're about to see. If you get lost a little bit along the way, it will not stop you from being able to complete the work. The understanding is just to try and help you understand algebra a little bit better. But the skill and technique of collecting like terms is a whole other thing anyway, and you will be fine with it. So I'm going to start with something nice and simple that we understand, and that's numbers. If I gave you 5 plus 5, you know the answer to that is 10. When I have a number, but I don't know what it is, so someone says, oh, I'm thinking of a number, and I'm like, well, I don't know what it is. I use a letter, and that is what letters are doing in maths. They are replacing or representing a number that no one's told me what it is. I just don't know what it is. So I'm going to use A. Now, if I had A plus A, I'm not going to get a numerical answer. Like here, I got 10. I got a numerical answer. Nice, neat, tidy. Here, I'm not going to get that because I don't have numbers in the first place. What I've got is A, and then I've got another A. How many A's have I got altogether? I've got 2. I got 2 A's, and I can write it like that. I've got 2 lots of A, and that squashing does mean times. 2 lots of. Lots of is our multiplication, isn't it? Now we're going to go back and see whether or not this kind of works in the world of maths, because it's quite random. Don't really know what's happening here. So let's say someone's come along and gone, hey, I know what A is. A is equal to 5. That means I can come back to my problem and I can say, okay, that A there, I now know that A is 5. And I've got to add another A. Well, I've been told A is 5. So that A there is 5. And then here I've got 2. It's squashed to the A, remember, which means times, but I have an A. And I must replace all my A's with the number 5. And now, on either side of the equals, I've got an add question on this side. I've got a times question on that side. So let's get these answers. 5 plus 5 is 10. We know that from up here. And 2 times 5 is 10. So what we've actually done with our algebra here is we've written an equivalent way. It means the same thing. they give the same answers if I put numbers in. Is that true though every time, or is it just just working because I put 5 in? Well, let's choose a different number for A and just see what happens. Let's put in A is equal to 10. That's going to give me 10 here and another 10 there, and then 2 times 10. So I've changed all the A's into 10. And when I do the maths, 10 plus 10 is 20. And 2 times 10 is 20. So that's working really, really nicely. And it actually doesn't matter how hard. I could have 2A plus 3A minus 7A. I could have anything written down. The tidied up version would give the same answer if we had numbers to put in. So what we're actually doing with our collecting like terms, okay, is we are just writing it in a neater way. That's all it is. We're neatening it up, okay? We're going to move quite quickly through the collecting like terms because I want to get you into the types of questions that you might see at GCSE level. So we're going to do all of it in today's session. I want you to start now writing down notes as we go, having a go when it's a have a go question, so that you can start building how to do these questions. All right. So we can get questions like this, where all the letters are the same. Okay. And when that's the case, I can literally just say, right, I've got 3 A's. I've got to add 7 to them. So I don't even need to think in A's. I can literally just go, okay, I've got 3 plus 7, that's 10. So I've got 10 A's. Then I can come along and go, right, I need to take away 4. Okay, 10 take 4 is 6. So I've now got 6 A's left. Okay, and that's why I kind of refer to it as being neater and tidied up, because that's a lot easier to look at than all of this. Okay, have a go at a question for me. So we'll change the letter so we don't get 4p plus 3p minus p. So just have a go at that question. Pause and press play when you're ready. Okay, so I've got 4 p's, and I need to add 3. I need to add 3 p's. 4 plus 3 is 7. So at this stage, I'm at 7p. 4p plus 3p, 7p. This says take away a p. Now, this could have been confusing for some because there's no number in front. When there is no number in front, it means you have 1p. I can see 1p. I just don't actually put the 1 in. So 4p plus 3p is 7p. Take away a p leaves me 6p. So that tidies up to 6p. And well done if you got that right. If you went wrong because of that single p, don't worry about it. You're going to see lots more like that, so you'll soon get used to it. Okay, now, this is when they start to get harder, because we see things like 3a plus 4b plus 6a plus 2b, and we're told to simplify or collect this up, okay? Now, it's really, really important that we remember that the A's and the B's, they don't come together when we're adding or subtracting them. They're in their own kind of gangs, and you need to think, okay, there's an A gang and a B gang. They don't like each other. They're not going into each other's gangs. There's no squashing together. All right, my answer is going to look very similar to my question. The A's and the B's are separated out, and the A's and the B will remain separated in the answer. So let me show you what I mean. My very first letter is A, and I'm being told I've got 3 of them. So I've got 3 A's. as I travel along the information or the questions, the next thing I hit are the B's. So I've got to ignore those. The A's don't like the B's. So I'm not doing anything with them. I'm searching for more A's. So I'm going to carry on down, and I found some more gang members down here. I've got 6 A's. So I'm going to highlight those. So I've got A, I've got 6 of them, and the sign. So many people do not include, you might circle, you could do anything, and they don't include the sign, and then they go wrong. That sign is directing you, and you've got to know what it wants you to do. So you've got to show that sign. I've got all the A's highlighted. So now I can take a little look at what I've got. I've got 3 A's. It says add. I'm being directed to add another 6 A's. And 3 plus 6 is 9. So I've got 9 A's. And now I can look at the other gang, the B gang. So I always highlight backwards. So I do my letter, my number, my sign. Basically, everything should be highlighted, and then I stop before I hit the A's. So that tells me I've got 4 B's. I'm at 4 on the number line. Traveling across, I find the other B's, highlighting backwards to that plus, and I've got 2 B's, and I'm being directed to add them. And 4 plus 2 is 6. So I've got 6B. Now, I do have to have a sign between these. I can't just leave it floating around. There were signs between all of this. There needs to be a sign between this. 4 plus 2 is 6. 6 is positive, so I'm going to show the plus sign. As this gets harder and we start bringing negatives in, that is another place where people can get really confused. And they're like, I don't know whether I'm supposed to put a negative or a positive. Now, as we're doing it, I'll explain it again. But what I want to really say now is that when you have to write a negative, it falls out of your mouth. You literally say it. 2 take away 5 is -3. You physically say the minus when you have to write it. So if you haven't said it, you just shove a plus in. Okay? You'll see that happening when we do a few more examples. Right, let's do this one. 5x plus 6y plus 3x plus 2y. I want you to pause and have a go, please. Okay, so we've got, let's do the highlighting. Got 5 x's, and then I'm going back, x, 3 plus. It's directing me to add the 3. 5 plus 3 is 8. I've got 8 x's. And for y's, I've got 6, and they are positive, so I know I'm starting at 6 on the number line. I'm being directed to add 2 more. So I've got plus 8y. 6 plus 2 is 8. I didn't say minus. There's no minus in the question. Boom, plus goes down. If you got that right, excellent work, well done. Okay, I want you to have a go at this question now. It's getting harder, but I want you to have a go first, all right? I don't want you to be inactive and just watching. I want you totally involved. All right, so just have a go. It doesn't matter if it goes well or not. It's just you trying. Pause and press play when you're ready. Okay, so I've got 3 x's. There's the other x's, and we're being directed to add. 3x plus 1 more x is 4x. Okay. And then I look at my y's. So let me change my highlighter. I've got 5 y's. They are positive. Never ignore the sign. So I'm at 5. It says take away 3 y's. I'm being directed to take 3 away. Okay. 5 take 3 is 2. 2. -2 was not said out loud. 2 was said. So I put a plus in. And that's when people can get a bit confused, because there's a minus here. They want to put a minus here. And if you did that, then know that you're doing something that's really normal. It's what we call a common misconception. That it means loads of pupils do that. If you haven't said it in your answer, you don't write it in your answer, okay? If you got that right first time, then really well done, because the negative does often cause people to go wrong. They either put the negative here as their answer, or they don't spot the negative and they just add. So if you wrote 8y, that's what you did, you added. So just be really mindful of that. Now, I want to quickly mention the marking on this in an exam question. It is worth 2 marks, and they will be giving you a mark for each correct term. So if you got this term right, you did actually get a mark. If you got this one right, you got 4 marks. If you got that bit wrong, you still got a mark. You know, if this isn't a disaster, is it? All right, let's go for another question. Let's do 7t plus 3w minus 4t minus w. I'm not messing about. So press pause, have a go. Okay, so let's have a little look. We've got 7 t's, and here are my other t's. I've got 4 of them, and I'm being directed to take away. 7 take 4 is 3. So I've got 3 t's. I just said 3, so it's positive. And when I look at my w's, I've got 3. They are positive 3. I'm 3 at the number line. And it says take away. It's directing me to take one of the w's away. So if I've got 3 and I take away 1, I have got 2w. And it's a positive 2. 3 take 1 is 2. No minus fell out of my mouth when I said the answer. Okay, I hope that's making sense. All right, let's try another question. We'll do 5a plus 3b plus 3a minus, there we go. Lots of 3s and 5s in that question. They can do that type of thing because it can make it feel a little bit harder, but just take your time, pause, and then play when you're ready. All right, let's look. I've got 5 A's. There's my other A's. And I'm being directed to add 3. 5 plus 3 is 8. I've got 8 A's. If you got that, you got your first mark. Okay. Now I'm looking at my B's. I've got 3, and I'm at the positive 3 on the number line. So I've taken all that information in. And when I look at these B's, I'm being told to take away 5. So I'm being directed to move 5 down the number line from 3. That takes me to minus 2. Oops, little rubber, it does come on all by itself. Minus 2b. And if you got that, that's absolutely brilliant. And if it went wrong, seriously, do not worry. This is what we're here for, okay? They get tricky. So we're going to do another one. So let's do 6p plus 4r minus 2p minus 5r. There you go. Press pause and hit play when you're ready. All right, let's see how you got on with this one. 6 P's. Here are my other P's. I've got 2, and I'm being directed to take them away. 6 take 2 is 4, so I've got 4 P's. If you got that, then tick it, because you've got your first mark. Happy days. Okay, I've got the R's, and they're positive. Over here, it's telling me to take 5. If I'm at 4, and I take 5, I will end up at -1. So -1R. And if you wrote that, you will have got your other mark. I would just like to say that if you were going to be perfect, you wouldn't show the 1 sign, would you? Because you don't need to. They're not going to penalise you in the exam. So if you did write -1R, you will still get your mark. But we want good habits. We want to be doing things in the correct way. So I really do want you to try and remember that you don't need to write that 1. But if you do, you aren't wrong. You don't have to mark yourself incorrect because you would get the mark. All right. Okay, let's try another one. Probably do another couple or so. I want to just try and think of all the possible things that could come that look slightly different, so you've had a chance to see it before you practice on your own. So let's do 6x minus 3y minus 2x minus 4y. So you can see I've put a lot of minuses into that, but just don't deviate from your method. Just trust in it, take your time, and you should be fine. So hit pause and press play when you're ready. Okay, I've got 6 x's and I'm told to take 2. I'm directed to take 2 x's away. So I've now got 4 x's. Looking at my y's, I've got 3. But this is why we highlight the sign. This very clearly says I'm at -3, not positive number, I'm at -3. When I look at the other y's, that is telling me to minus a further 4. I'm being directed to take another 4 away. Okay, so if I think about my number line here, what I'm actually doing is I'm saying, right, I'm at -3, so I'm here, and I've got to take away 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then my answer is -7. -7y. And if you did get that right, absolutely brilliant. I think probably the most common thing people do is they don't really clock this negative here. So if you did 3 minus 4, you might have ended up with -1y. That would have been common. So that's just really, just be mindful, all right, that will come up, and we want to be prepared and ready for it. All right, what about this one? Okay, 5p. Okay, just copy it down when you are ready. I want you to pause and play when you're ready. Okay, so let's have a little look at this question. I've got 5 p's. The other p's are actually all the way down here. So if I'm not reading it properly, I could miss that. Every question we've done, they've kind of been in the same positions. And I thought, I'll just mix it up and make sure that's not going to cause a problem. If I've got 5 p's and I add 10 p's, I've got 15 p's. Now, I've got r's. I've got 7. No, I'm at -7. And I'm being told to go another 2 places down. I'm being directed to take 2 more away. That is going to put me at -9r. And if you got that right, then really, really well done. Okay, so you're going to practice this, and then that will be the end of this session. So these are the questions that you're going to practice. I really, really, really want you to just do a couple, absolutely 2 maximum, then you mark. Then you rewind the video to see the questions again, or you could just write them all out in one go, but mark. It's so important that you mark as you go, okay? I am also aware of how much we've actually covered already in just 3 sessions. We've taken on a lot of facts with our angles. And obviously there's all of this as well. We've got our averages where we've got that language that we've got to remember. So what we're going to do next session, so that you are aware before you start it, is we are going to consolidate. We're going to work on everything we've done so far so that we're not racing ahead at a speed that's making you feel uncomfortable. We want you to be confident with what you are doing. And part of that is taking our time and revisiting and making sure we've got everything kind of straight in our heads. So next session is going to be a consolidation session. So there won't be anything new to learn, but we will be doing everything that we've done so far in the one video. Okay. So if you press pause, so you've got time to get your questions down, and then hit play, I will have the answers scroll up in a sec. All right, well done today, and I will see you next session.